What technology does supply chain management use? Nicely done. Rafid is a solid answer. UPS or FedEx plays what role in the supply chain? Smart move. Transporter is an accurate answer.
Which one should come first in the supply chain?
Nice work. You chose raw materials, and it is correct.
What is the main focus of operations management?
Solid response. Managing the movement of goods, information, and funds is a valid choice. What does a weeks of supply ratio of 9 indicate? Correct response. Efficient inventory management is the most accurate answer. This refers to the amount of product available. You chose demand, and it is correct. Receiving, stocking, order processing, shipping. Right again. Marketing the responsibilities within a warehouse distribution center is a valid answer. What is meant by SIM? Smart pick. Supply chain management is the correct choice. The elements that make up the supply chain are: well done. Suppliers, transport, manufacturers, technology, and customers is the right choice. What can be used for supply chain optimization? You're right. Mathematical programming is the correct answer.
Who drives the supply chain logistics process?
Clear logic. Your choice customer is sound and 100% true.
One of supply chain strategy objective is DASH.
Good thinking. High quality of product is the right answer. What does the outbound supply chain deal with? Great thinking. Moving goods and products out to customers is the right choice. Supply chain consists of 3 components, namely: nice selection. Upstream, internal, downstream is the correct and valid answer. The objective of every supply chain is to dash. On track. Maximize the overall value generated is the correct answer.
The supply chain distribution channel includes:
well-reasoned. Manufacturer, warehouse, retailer, and consumer is the correct choice. Which one is not a main stage of supply chain? Well picked. Advertiser is the correct answer. What is the purpose of a supply chain network? Good job. Your answer, all of the above, works well here. Which of the following is true of Agile supply? Exactly. Agile supply prioritizes adaptability, makes sense, and it is right choice.
What is a tapered integration in supply chain?
Right choice. Choosing to make and buy the product is the best answer. The main objective of inventory management is: great job. Balance inventory cost optimization and service level maximization is the accurate answer.
The link of the supply chain consists of dash.
Strong choice. Supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, customer is the right answer.
It is also known as the reserve supply chain.
You got it. Your choice return management is right. Storage management consists of processes dash. Excellent. Entering and removing goods, picking and packing is a brilliant choice. Why you should study supply chain management. Valid point. A real necessity is true. What is the goal of supply chain visibility? Excellent choice. Gain visibility into shipments is the right answer.
The beginning of the supply chain operation.
Sharp thinking. Preparation stage is the right choice. What is the second step in the supply chain? Perfect. Make is the correct choice. The objective of supply chain management is correct. Maximize the value generated for the client is the right answer. The source of income for a supply chain is bravo. Client is the answer. What is integrated supply chain management? Clear logic. Your choice A network of suppliers, manufacturers, and distributors is sound and 100% true. The cost of stock management and insurance. Excellent choice. Service costs is the right answer. Complexity in the supply chain is caused by good thinking. All of these answers is the right answer. What are the elements of logistics system? Great job. All of the above is the accurate answer.
The problematic stage of supply chain meant.
Correct. Return is the right answer. The CM coverage areas are as follows dash. Perfect. Product development, purchasing, design and control, production, distribution is the correct choice. What is meant by vendor selection process? You got it. Your choice selection of suppliers based on certain criteria is right. What is one of the main objectives of SEM? Exactly. Increase operational efficiency makes sense, and it is right choice. Customer satisfaction and product quality. Right again. Qualitative measures is a valid answer. Upstream supply chain activities are dash. Well picked. Procurement is the correct answer. Administration or management of supplies. You chose supply management, and it is correct. The supply chain life cycle begins with nicely done. Raw materials is a solid answer. Supply chain management consists of dash. Strong choice. Plan source make deliver by is the right answer. One of the customs management documents. On track. Commercial invoice is the correct answer. What does supply chain mean in language? Correct response. Supply chain is the most accurate answer. Decision in supply chain management dash. You're right. All is correct is the correct answer. Inventory management is shallow at dash. Sharp thinking. Retailer is the right choice.
Sources of supply chain revenue, except.
Right choice. Information is the best answer. Inventory management is one part of it. Smart pick. Operational management and production management is the correct choice. What is not a benefit of eSIM is dash. Great thinking. Providing multi-channel for customers is the right choice. Flow involving cash or finance matter. Solid response. Money flow is a valid choice. A business supply chain includes dash. Valid point. All of the above is true. The three streams in the supply chain are Excellent. Goods, information, money is a brilliant choice. Supply chain is also referred as dash. Nice selection. Logistic network is the correct and valid answer.
How many ethics management are there?
Well done. 3 is the right choice.
What is the main focus of this video? Well reasoned. Coffee bean journey is the correct choice.
Components in supply chain management. Bravo! Procurement of raw materials, production, distribution is the answer. 4 flows in a supply chain are dash. Good job. Your answer money, goods, information, demand works well here.
5 supply chains that must be owned.
Nice work. You chose reliability, responsiveness, agility, process, efficiency, asset productivity, and it is correct.
Which one belonged to Pull Strategy?
Smart move. Driven by actual customer demand is an accurate answer.
The end point of the supply chain.
You got it? Your choice, none of the above, is right. Who propounded value chain model? Nice work. You chose Porter, and it is correct. Movement in supply chain, except. Exactly. Manpower makes sense, and it is right choice.
Is not a stage of supply chain.
Well reasoned. Service is the correct choice.
The supply chain structure is.
Sharp thinking. Suppliers, sourcing, production, outbound logistics, customer service is the right choice.
What is a supply chain design?
Good thinking. A description of the entire supply chain is the right answer.
Global supply chain logistics.
Right choice. The lifeblood of the global economy is the best answer.
What is cold chain logistics?
Correct. Transporting perishables is the right answer.
What is the bullwhip effect?
Correct response. A tool used to forecast customer demand is the most accurate answer. Economies of scale refers to. Well done. Cost advantage experience by a firm is the right choice.
The supply chain consists of.
On track. Supplier, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, customer is the correct answer.
The storage cycle includes.
You're right. Reception, storage, stock control, and dispatch is the correct answer.
What does SENOP stand for?
Excellent choice. Sales and operation planning is the right answer.
What's the meaning of CM?
Right again. Supply chain management is a valid answer.
Supply chain management.
Excellent. Supply chain management is a brilliant choice. Not a benefit of CM.
Solid response.
Move the team away to work on their specialties is a valid choice. Supply chain stages. You chose all above, and it is correct. What is Enrofid? Smart pick. A device used to identify goods is the correct choice. SEAM stands for. Valid point. Supply chain management is true. What is SEM? Strong choice. Supply chain management is the right answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Nice selection. Contact Narayan Chengder is the correct and valid answer.